Oh, wow, what a night. Holy shit. Brock Lesnar returned? Ooh, wow. What a big surprise to see that. I would have never thought in my entire existence that Brock Lesnar was coming back. I'm lost for words. I am literally lost for words. Man, this SummerSlam recap, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But, I had to calm myself down so we could talk about this night. But holy shit, Brock Lesnar is back. But I will get more into that later on in this video. But, man, I had to start it off that way because, woo! Now that I got that out of the way, I got my element of surprise out the way. APW Sports signing back in. This is a SummerSlam recap. Night 2, historic week for the WWE with 2 nights of SummerSlam. Let's just get right into it as we start off the night with Naomi versus Rhea, Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World title. And that match delivered. Of course, they were going to attack Naomi first and foremost after her cashing in at Evolution. And, man, that match was very similar to the triple threat between Rhea, Io, and Bianca at WrestleMania. That match was very, very similar. And only thing that was different about this match, of course, was Naomi having the title and Naomi being in the match. And Naomi getting a sneak pin after Rhea hit the riptide on Io, and Naomi sneaks in and pins Rhea to retain her Women's World Championship, which I think was the best outcome of this match because there's no way you could have Naomi cash in only for her to lose in about 2-3 weeks of her title reign. I just felt there was no way she was losing that match. No way she was losing that match. Now, what is it going to be on some suspicious things because of her heel run? Yes, but I love Naomi's heel run. I love how it has gone so far. And I'm glad that she retained the title, to be honest, because, of course, Io and Rhea, 2 of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and you just feel like, it's going to be those 2 again. I think that might be setting up for a WrestleMania potential match between them 2, as maybe Rhea finally conquers Io or at some point, but what a match to kick the night off. Then we have the six-pack challenge for the titles, tag team titles, as YS6 defend their crown versus Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, Fraxium, and Andrade and Rey Fenix. And God, this was a hell of a match. Whether we're talking about table spots, we're talking about frog splashes through tables, we're talking about Montez jumping off the ropes and jumping through the crowd of people. Whether we're talking about Spanish flies through the table, frog splashes through the table. We got appearances from Candice LeRae, appearances from B-Fab, and appearances from what's her name? Nikki Cross. And man, and we had the Bo Dallas, Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, get involved. What a damn match. That was a hell of a match. The biggest spot, of course, Candice LeRae getting put through the ladder. And oh my God, that was such a good match. YS6, I kind of feel it was gonna retain. Like, I kind of in the same situation as Naomi. They just captured the title like 2 weeks ago. And I just didn't feel there was a way they was going to take it off of them. And it tells more of a story of the YS6 going forward. And it's like, who is going to dethrone the YS6 from the tag team titles at this point? That's a question to be answered down the line. But that was another great match. Then we have Becky versus Lyra for the Women's Intercontinental title. And this, Becky debuted a new theme, which I saw online that is possibly to happen. Her heel run, new theme, kind of makes sense. So Either way, this match, very good match. Both women put on a hell of a show. The main thing was Becky zip tying Lyra Valkyria's hands together, and she spent the decent part of the match with her hands tied together. And when she eventually got out with the whole fire extinguisher in her face, and then she tried to use the ropes, then she ends up, it was a great match, spectacular match, and I just knew Bayley was going to get involved somehow. There was no way that they had this match and Bayley was not going to stick her nose in it. At first, it looks like she grabs the crowbar with Lyra in the steel chair with her neck, and it's like, okay, is this the point where they turn Bayley heel? But she ends up attacking Becky, fighting Becky, kind of to help Lyra, but once they get in the ring, she has the chain wrapped around her fist, tries to go for Becky. Becky ducks out of the way and hits Lyra and enables Becky to retain her title for the 1-2-3. And now Lyra can no longer challenge for that title as long as Becky Lynch holds it. Now, I will say this, Becky Lynch having a title does bring more prestige to it. It does bring more of an element of who is going to take the title off of her now that Becky is behind her, maybe Bayley, but that was another good match. Then we have Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa in the steel cage match. I think this was probably the more underwhelming match of the night. I'm not gonna lie, because it just felt like everything went to the same almost plan as the Night of Champion match between these two. As the MFTs, we knew they were gonna get involved. Jimmy Uso, of course, comes out. He gets attacked. I'm just waiting for another element of who else is going to be added to the Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu side at this point, because it's like the numbers game is always going to favor Solo at this point. Who is going to side with Jacob and Jimmy at this point? The numbers game is proving to be too much for Jacob and Jimmy to overcome. Even in the steel cage, where Tyler Tonga ends up kicking the cage door and Fatu falls back and Solo ended up escaping and retaining his title. But after the match, Jimmy locks JC Mateo and Tagaloa inside the steel cage, where Jacob Fatu hits the moonsault off the top to knock those two out. It's just like I said, somebody has got to jump on their side at some point where we're talking about storyline purposes. It has to happen. It really has to happen at this point, because Jacob is never going to conquer Solo at this point as long as the MFTs is on Solo's side. Then we have Dominic versus AJ for the Intercontinental title, and Dominic comes out with the mask, but AJ pays homage to Eddie Guerrero, coming out with the lowrider, which could possibly be his last SummerSlam. And not only that, he comes out with Eddie Guerrero themed gear from the Dominic versus Ray custody battle of Dominic 20 years ago. He paid homage to Eddie at his entire entrance. And to me, I'll just think this, it felt like this match in itself was a homage to Eddie Guerrero when we're talking about Dominic loosening the boot, similar to what Eddie Guerrero did at WrestleMania 20 to retain his title against Kurt Angle. Whether we're talking about Three Amigos, whether we're talking about Dom and the Frog Splash, it just feels like this whole match was a homage to the late, great Eddie Guerrero. And Dom hits the Frog Splash after using the Eddie Guerrero style boot, loosening of the boot when AJ Styles went for the calf crusher, gets the boot. He ends up hitting AJ Styles with the boot, hits the Frog Splash, and retains his title for the 1-2-3, which I felt that was going to happen at this point. Dom is on a crazy run right now, and I just didn't think taking the title off of him would have made any sense. But what a match. I think this was a good match. Possibly, like I said, AJ is on the back half of his career, and he's leaning towards retirement. But I'm glad they did a paid homage to the late, great Eddie Guerrero in this match. And overall, I'll give this a good match as well. Then we have the main event, which was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And this is where everything happens. I came into this match and I was like, okay, we know Cody's going to come out in his usual mask and usual style. But was John Cena going to actually come out to his usual old school style, which, Lord behold, it looked like it at first because the screen came black, but he went back to the old John Cena that most are accustomed to and most love. Using the typical run to the ring, doing his usual thing with the belt, wearing it the right way, doing his trademark entrance. And this match, halfway through it, I was like, this match is already 10 times basically better than the match that they had at WrestleMania. We had tables involved. We had them fighting on the stage involved. Whether we're talking about John Cena, AA, and Cody Rhodes coming off of the elevator lift that was set up on the stage. Whether we're talking about Cody putting Cena through the table. Whether we're talking about Cena putting Cody through the announce table. Chairs being involved. And Cody Rhodes taking the bottom part of the rope off and attacking John Cena with it, and he thought it was the last part. Kicks out of that. Cody Rhodes hits him with 3 crossroads. Cena kicks out of that. Super Cena's back. Super Cena hits 2 AAs and an avalanche AA, and Cody kicks out of that. In this match lived up to the billing, and it almost felt like it looked like at points Cena was going to turn back heel, and it looked like at points Cody was going to tap into that and turn heel, grab the belt, but ends up getting the dodge by Cena, and Cena hits an AA. Man, this match had me on the edge of my seat because, honestly, I thought that match could have went either way. That match could have went either way. But Cody Rhodes it looks like Cena was finna set up Cody for another avalanche AA through the table. Cody counters, puts Cena through the table, hits a crossroads, and ends up doing whatever he had to do to regain his WWE Championship back, and that is exactly what happened. And the end of the match told a story as well, as it was both men paying respects to another hell of a match. Like I said, 10 times better than what they had at SummerSlam. There was no Travis Scott, nobody else to interfere. It was just a pure street fight, a pure match, which that told so much, and that was so much better than their WrestleMania match. So this match in particular lived up for it, and you had like I said, they both were paying their respects to each other. Cody leaves the ring. The crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Cena." And I was like, okay, they're going to close out the night with John Cena finally getting his face turned. I think solidified his face turn. And Lord behold, Brock Lesnar comes out. And I was like, I was just saying, I'm like, what the hell? This ain't real. And holy shit, it was Brock Lesnar. Wow. We've been, and you guys wrestling fans know, you've been seeing things that he was blacklisted. He was banned from the WWE with the whole going lawsuit. But it's wild that he has come back after being absent from the WWE since 2023 SummerSlam, when Cody Rhodes ended up defeating him. And he was kind of like almost similar pass the torch moment. And Brock Lesnar returns to F5 John Cena. And there was no way in hell nobody seen this coming. If you seen this coming, and you said, "Oh, I predicted this," you're a damn liar. You are a damn liar. Because this was something that no one seen coming. I am not a Brock Lesnar fan. I'll just be honest. Never have been, never will be a Brock Lesnar fan. But was it wild and a holy shit moment to see him come back? Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely, it was a holy shit. You almost didn't want to believe it when his music hit. Because it was like, oh my God, didn't he just get blacklisted? Didn't they just come out and say that he possibly could have been on the ban list? And now he's back to return and attack Cena? Could this be leading up to a match between Lesnar and Cena down the line? Who knows? But that is why I love the WWE. Things like that is why I love the WWE. Night one with Seth cashing in on CM Punk, which, like I said, I saw that coming. You guys can watch my night one recap. Then this? Just when you thought, okay, maybe they're both Cena and Cody gonna stay babyface. And he was like, okay, mate, they pulled it off. They're both staying babyface. Cody leaves the ring, and then Brock Lesnar music's hit. What an end to a great SummerSlam weekend. What an end. But I think I'll give this night a 9, possibly a 10 out of 10. All the matches, possibly outside of the Jacob versus Solo match, to me, were great matches. All of them told stories. All of them had crazy endings. And then you add how good Cena versus Cody was without all the heel run, with John Cena being the usual great big match Cena. Then add Brock Lesnar returning to it as an element of surprise that no one saw coming. I think I get this night a 10 out of 10. Night 2 is better than night 1. But I don't want to make this too much longer. That's all I have. APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and I will be heading out. Catch you guys later. More content on the way. APW Sports signing out. Peace.